So, good morning, guys. So today we will see the next example based on this one-dimensional steady-state heat conduction. Okay, and we will solve this example by using our finite element analysis procedure. Okay, so what is this example? So here, in this example, given that a heat chamber is given and it is insulated from right-hand side and it is insulated also from the circumferential. Okay, so a heat chamber wall it is given of 1 meter thickness and it is insulated on right hand side as well as it is insulated on its circumferential area. Okay, and it is given that a uniform heat source of 400 watt per meter cube is given inside the heat chamber. Okay, so a 400 heat source is given inside the heat chamber. 400 watt per meter cube of heat source or heat generated inside the heat chamber due to this heat source. Also, it is given that the thermal conductivity of the heat chamber is equal to 25. Thermal conductivity of the heat chamber is equal to 25 watt per meter degree Celsius. And next, it is given that the area of this heat chamber, A is given equal to 1 meter square, and the left hand side means this side, at this left hand side it is maintained at temperature of 200 degree Celsius. Okay, so left hand side it is maintained at temperature of 200 degree Celsius. Okay, then use four elements to find out the heat the temperature distribution within the heat chamber. Okay, so use four elements to find out temperature distribution within the heat chamber. Okay, so find out the temperature distribution within the heat chamber by using four element analysis. Okay, so here now we will solve this example by considering first we need to convert this problem in free body diagram. So what will be the free body diagram? This is the total length of your heat chamber. Okay, total length is given equal to 1 meter. Okay, and in analysis they said that convert this heat chamber into 4 elements. Okay, so we will convert this heat chamber into 4 elements. This is first element, this is second element, let us suppose this is third element, and this is your fourth element. And total length is given equal to 1 meter. So if we convert this total length in 4 elements, for each element length will become equal to 0.25 meter. Okay, so in this way we have converted this total length into 4 elements. Okay, then thermal conductivity K is given equal to 25 watt per meter degree Celsius. Okay, so K is given for this heat chamber. It means K is same for all elements. Okay, so it means what? K1 is equal to K2 is equal to K3 is equal to K4 is equal to 25 watt per meter degree Celsius. Okay, then this left side of this heat chamber it is maintained at temperature T is equal to 200 degrees Celsius. So this at this stage this is your T1, this is your T2, this is your T3, For this fourth node, T4, and for this fifth node, temperature is T5. So here we need to find out the temperature distribution, means we need to find out T1, T2, T3, T4 and T5. But left hand is maintained at temperature 200 degrees Celsius. It means the value of T1 is equal to 200 degrees Celsius. Then next, right hand side, it is maintained at, or it is insulated one. So for this right hand side, heat output Qx out, it must be equal to 0 because of this insulation. And similarly, heat going inside, this is nothing but your Qx in. So Qx in must be there. So we need to find out this Qx in is equal to question mark. Okay, this is for this is due to the boundary condition of the load due to the heat conducted in and heat conducted out. So heat conducted in is not given, it means we need to find out. And heat conducted out, it is equal to 0. Why? Because there is a insulation on right hand side. And heat conducted in, why we need to find out heat conducted in? Because your left hand side, this node 1, it is maintained at temperature T1. T1 is equal to 200 degrees Celsius. It means what? Due to this 200 degrees Celsius, there must be some heat conducted inside the heat chamber or heat conducted outside the heat chamber. But at this end, it is insulated. So it is due to this insulation, we need to we will take this Q out is equal to 0 because no heat loss from this right hand side. But for left hand side, there must be some heat Q in or heat Q out due to this temperature T1. Okay, so that's why Qx in is equal to question mark, Qx out is equal to 0. Next, heat generation rate. Now, capital Q is given. Heat generation rate, capital Q, it is given equal to 400 watt per meter cube. Now, it is given. Now, we need to find out the load vector due to heat generation. In previous problem, actually, we have taken this heat generation or this Q value is equal to 0. Why? Because there is no heat source or no heat sinks in this problem they mentioned. But in this problem, they have given that there is a heat source of 400 watt per meter cube inside the heat chamber. Okay, and this is a heat source. So heat source, it means what? It will create or it will generate heat. So it will generate heat, which means what? We need to take this all values as a positive. But if there is a heat sink, then we will take it as a negative. Why? Because this heat will be absorbed by this heat sink. If heat is generated, then we will take it as a positive, and if heat is absorbed, then we will take it as a negative. Means what? If heat source is given in the problem, then we need to take positive value, and if heat sink is given in the problem, then we need to take negative sign. Okay, so these are the input data to find out the temperature distribution for these 5 nodes. At this 5 nodes, we need to find out the temperature values. So this is the given data. Given data, it means what? K1, K2, K3, K4, these are all same because the thermal conductivity of the heat chamber, it is given equal to 25 watt per meter degree Celsius. Then T1 is known 200 degrees Celsius. Qx in we need to find out because of this T1, and Qx out is equal to 0 because right hand side it is insulated. Then heat generation rate Q is equal to 400 watt per meter cube is given. So we need to find out the load vector due to heat generation rate. Okay, so we will try to find out this also. So this is the free body diagram of this heat chamber. Now by using this we will solve our exam. Okay, so as we know that the general finite element procedure to solve the temperature distribution within the one-dimensional heat conduction problem, as we know that Kx into A divided by L in bracket 1 minus 1 into temperature distribution vector, or this temperature vector is equal to Q into L by 2, Q into L by 2. This is load vector due to heat generation rate plus this is plus and this is negative, qx half. Okay, this is the load vector or boundary condition due to the heat conduction. Okay, so this is generalized equation we are using to solve our heat conduction problem. Okay, here it is nothing but your element conductive stiffness matrix. This is nothing but your load vector due to heat generation rate, and this is nothing but your load vector or boundary condition due to the heat conduction rate. Okay, so here first we will find out the elemental conductive stiffness matrix for each element. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 elements, so we need to find out 4 elemental conductive stiffness matrices. So here the value of K is set, the value of length is also set, so all elemental conductive stiffness matrices are set. So we will find out this as, so this K1 is equal to K2 is equal to K3 is equal to K4 is nothing but Kx, it is nothing but 200. Okay, Kx actually it is given. Kx is equal to I think 200. Sorry, 25. Kx value is given. But it is 25 and 200 degrees Celsius. So 25 into area. Area is given 1 meter square divided by length. Point 25 into 1 minus 1 minus 1. Okay, and its value will become equal to. So if we simplify this step, then we will get the value equal to 100. 100. So this we will get the value as 100 minus 100 minus 100 and 100. Okay, so in this way you will get your elemental conductive stiffness matrix. Now next we need to construct the global stiffness matrix for these 4 elements. So as we know that the global stiffness matrix, it is given by, so it should be of order, as there are 5 nodes, so order of that global stiffness matrix must be 5 by 5. Okay. So this will become equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Similarly 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So it must be of order 5 by 5. Okay. So first element it is in between node 1 and 2. Connectivity of the first element is in between node 1 and 2. So it will place here. So 100 minus 100 minus 100 100. Then second is in between node 2 and 3. Okay. So connectivity of the second element is in between node 2 and 3. So simply we will add here 100 minus 100 minus 100 100. Similarly third element plus 100 minus 100, because connectivity is in between node 3 and 4. So this will become minus 100 and 100. And between 4 and 5, 100 minus 100 minus 100 and 100. So in this way you will get the elemental stiffness matrix. Okay, remaining terms are 0. Okay, so if we add this, it will become 200. This will become equal to 200. Okay, so in this way you will get this global stiffness matrix of order 5 by 5. Now next is what? here we determine our global stiffness matrix of order 5 by. Now next is what? It is completed. Now we need to find out the boundary conditions or load vectors. Now this is your load vector. So here Q value is given 400 watt per meter. So for each element we need to determine this load vectors. For first element, this is your load vector. For second element, we need to determine for similarly we need to determine this load vector for third element and for fourth element. So there are 4 load vectors, elemental load vectors due to this value. So this will become, so as we know that Q is same, area is same and length is same for this, for all or each element, these 3 values are same. So first we will find out simply the Q AL by 2, Q AL by 2. Then we can write this load vector. So this will become equal to Q is nothing but 400 into area is 1 into length is 0.25 divided by 2. So this will become equal to, I'm choosing, it will be equal to 50 and 50. Okay. So simply it will become equal to 10. So for first element, the connectivity is between 1 and 2. So this will become equal to 50, 50. Similarly, for second element, between 2 and 3, it will become 50 and 50. For third element, you can write between third and 50, 50. And similarly for fourth element, between 4th and 5th. Connectivity is in between 4 and 5. So it will be written as 50, 50. Okay. So in this way, you will get the load vector due to the heat generation for each element. This is what first element, second element, third element and fourth element. Now we need to write down the global load vector due to the heat generation. So how to write down the global heat generation? Because we know that 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. As there are 5 nodes, so we can write down here. So for first, between first and second, 50, 50. Between second and third, 50, 50. So it will become 50, 50. For third and fourth, 50, 50. And for fourth and fifth, plus 50 and 50. So in this way, you will get the load vector due to the heat generation. So here we can write this load vector here only. So as we know that this is equal to into T1, T2, T3, T4 and T5 is equal to become, it is nothing but 50, 100, 100, 100 and 50. So in this way we can write 50, 100, 100, 100 and 50. Okay, so in this way we can write, this is your global stiffness matrix into temperature vector is equal to your load vector into heat generation source plus this is the load vector or boundary condition due to the heat conduction effect. Now as we know that from boundary condition Qx in we need to find out due to this temperature T1. So this will become area, actually area is equal to 1 meter. So 1 into this. So Qx 1 we need to find out. At second, third and fourth it is equal to 0 and finally at fifth is also equal to 0 because Qx is equal to 0 due to this due to the insulation on right hand side. So this is your final equation between the temperature vector and load vector. Okay. So in this way you can now But just by simply adding these values, we will get t plus qx only. Here and other values are 0. So we will get here only t plus qx1. Okay. Other values are equal to 0. So now how to solve this problem or how to solve these 5 equations. So as we know that the value of t1 is given. So here t1 is equal to 200. So as we know that our procedure that unknown value for this first element in first row, so we need to eliminate first row and first column. Other 4 values are known and first value is unknown. So we need to eliminate this first row and first column, first row and first column. Okay, but you need to remember that due to this temperature T1 is equal to 200 degrees Celsius, what is the effect on second, third and fourth equation? Okay, so it means what? We need to just cross check that whether this 200 temperature value is affecting any another equation, like for second equation or third equation first element is equal to 0, so 0 into 200 0. For fourth equation 0 into 200 0. For fifth equation 0 into 200 0. As we know that first element is eliminated, so there is no effect for this first element. But for second equation, look at this, for second equation minus 100 into 200, so there will be some value we need to take account for second equation. Okay, so how to take? So here, if we solve or if we write this second equation, so we can get minus 100 into 200, minus 100 into 200 plus 200 times t2, 200 times t2 plus minus 100 times t3, minus 100 times t3 plus 0 times t4 plus 0 times t4 plus 0 times t4 plus 0 times t5 is equal to 100, is equal to 100. Okay, so it means what? Minus 100 into 200, it is nothing but 20,000. Okay, minus 20,000 plus 200 t2 or minus 20, minus 100 into 200 minus 20,000, so it will become here minus 20,000. So we need actually here 0 value. Okay, so if we need this as equal to 0 value, then we need to transfer this minus 20,000 into RHS cell. So it will become plus 20,000. Okay, and this will become equal to 0 times T1. Okay, so for this case, so we need to cross check that whether which element is taken into account, or we need to cross check whether due to this temperature T1 is equal to 200, which equation is affecting. So here second equation is affecting, and we need to take this value on RHS due to this temperature T1. So finally this will become 0 times T1. So this will become 0 times T1. Here I am writing as 0 times T1, 0 times T1, 200 times T2 minus 100 times T3, 0 times T2 plus 0 times T5 is equal to now 20,000 and 100 is equal to now 20,000 100. Okay, so in this way we have transferred our first value to RHS 20,000 and 100. Okay, now you can solve these 4 equations. Now you can solve these 4 equations. These 4 equations, like first, second, third and fourth equations. Now you can solve these 4th equations you will get, by solving these four equations, you will get T2, T3, T4 and T5 values. Okay, now how to solve these four equations? You can solve in your calc by using matrix calculation, or you can easily solve by using Gauss elimination method. So Gauss elimination method, what is the Gauss elimination method? We need to make all zero values below this diagram. So first we need to take this is equal to this value equal to 0, then we need to take this value equal to 0, then we need to take, or we need to make this value equal to 0. So how to make this value equal to 0? By row transformation. Okay, multiplying by first row with 1 and second row with 2, and by adding you will get this equal to 0. Similarly, multiplying this second row with respect to 1 and third row with respect to 2 and adding these two rows, you will get this value equal to 0. Similarly, you can apply your same operation on this value. So these three values you will get 0. Then by using actually this is your Gauss elimination method. Then finally you will get the first value from this equation. Okay, because this is 0, 0, 0, so you will get T5. Then by putting T5 into this equation, you will get T4. By putting T4, you will get T3, and similarly T2. Okay, so this is the way to solve this 4x4 matrix, or you can simply solve this 4 equations in your calc by using the matrix calculation. Okay, but the simple way is to find out by using the Gauss elimination method. So after solving, you will get the temperature values as, so you will get the temperature, by solving this you will get the temperature values as, you will get T5. So T5 you will get equal to 208 degrees Celsius. Then you will get, okay, first you will get T5, then you will get T4. This T4 is equal to 207.5 degrees Celsius. Then you will get T3. T3 is equal to 206 degrees Celsius, and you will get T2 equal to 203 degrees Celsius. So it means what? As we know that T1 is equal to 200 degrees Celsius. So in this way you will get T2 to T5 values. Then by putting all these values into this first equation, okay, into this first equation, if we put the T2 to T5 values, you will get Qx1. Okay, so by putting all the values, you will get Qx1, and Qx1 is nothing but equal to minus 400 watt per meter square. So why this negative sign is there? Because this is your heat chamber, and it is insulated like that. On other side there is an insulation. So heat transfer will take place from RHS to LHS. Okay, so it means what? This is your T5. T5 is what? 208. Then T4 is what? 207. Then T3 is what? 206. T2 is what? 203. And finally T1 is what? Your 200. It means what? Heat transfer is taking from RHS to LHS. So there will be heat going outside, and due to this Q will become negative, that is minus 400 watt per meter square. It means what? Heat is conducting from RHS to LHS, and it is going outside from this first node, and it is equal to minus 400 watt per meter square. So okay, so first we have assumed that there is a heat transfer from LHS to RHS, but it is not like that. By determining all the values, you will conclude that the heat transfer is taking place from RHS to LHS. Okay, so in this way you will get these 5 values of temperatures. That is, you will get the temperature distribution within this heat chamber, and also you will get the Qx, means heat conducted out from the left side. Okay, so in this way, if the heat generation as well as heat conduction is given in the problem, you can solve by using this procedure. Okay, so how to how to get or how to calculate this load vector due to the heat generation that we have studied here. Okay, so in this way you can apply this procedure to solve such type of problems. Okay, so here I am concluding this lecture, and from next lecture we will start heat convection problems. Okay, so first we will derive the heat convective, elemental heat convective stiffness matrix. Then we will apply same procedure to solve such type of problems. Okay, so here I am concluding this lecture. Thank you.